we're ready to go. Is the door closed?
Door's closed.
Yep.
Okay.
Tape's rolling.
Okay. I guess the first question is, why do you think there's an interest now in westerns and cowboys?
Well, all the people I know have always said, why don't they make some more westerns? You know, what's the deal? How come there's no more westerns to go see? And so, you know, I think at least the people that I know have never lost the interest for it. I've always, you know, craved a good western, you know, and there just weren't many of them made, and so I'm glad there's a, you know, I hope that there's a lot more made, and I'd like to be in them.
What do you think it is about cowboys that people right now seem to find so appealing?
Well, it's I guess it's the lifestyle, maybe, that they, you know, it's a little different, you know, it's you know, it's a lot of. Did you hear that?
What, over here?
My stomach
No.
is just growling.
Aren't someone in the hall? Boy, he's got a stomach and he's a ventriloquist with it. Can you hear that, David?
I heard the people in the hall, but I didn't hear the stomach.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
We're still rolling.
All right. You want to start again? You can stop anytime. Just cowboy. Why do you think people think cowboys and the cowboy lifestyle so appealing right now?
Well, I think it's a lifestyle. It's the being outside, the being, you know, being away from the city, the working, you know, with the horses and the animals, and the, you know, it's you know, I know I've always, you know, I love to be a part of rodeo. I think rodeo's a great sport, and if I was able to, you know, if I could make one wish come true, I'd love to be able to compete on a level, you know, that kind of level, because I love the sport of team roping, and it's just one of my favorite things to do of anything, you know, hobby-wise. So, you know, I'm like everybody else, I guess, that lifestyle appeals to me.
Well, the movie seems to make it very appealing. It seems like there's a big contrast between Dusty and the road and what he has to endure to make a living in the big cities, and this is the real appeal you get when you're out, when you get out to the ranch and you're out in the wide open spaces and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
you
it
know,
seems like the movie really goes after that.
Yeah, it shows that. It shows that side of, well, it shows getting away from all the craziness, you know, and getting back to the simple things in life, and where you're away from all that. And I, you know, I've always, I guess, been kind of lucky because I was able to do that real easy. I have, you know, I love country music and I love being a part of it, but I have other things that I can do in my life that I have just as much fun doing, and those are some of them. So, you know, if I can get away from that and go rope, I won't even think about it. I mean, if I'm at the ranch, I don't even think about music until I get back into it, you know, until I have to go do a date, and then my mind will go back into the music mode.
How autobiographical is the situation where you're doing lots of concert tours? Is that something you felt an empathy for from your own experience? You used to do 200, 250 dates a year.
Yeah, well, I have experienced the burnout, not to the extent maybe that this guy does, but I've definitely experienced that burnout feeling that toward the end of the year when you've done that many shows and you've been away from home and you just, you know, you just don't know if you can go another year, you know, and at that kind of a pace. And I've been there, you know, several times. When you get to October, November, you start slowing down for Christmas, and you think, you know, another year of this, I just don't know if I can take it. But then, you know, you kind of get rejuvenated, and after the first of the year, you're ready to get back in there.
How long did it take you to decide you wanted to act as well as to sing?
Well, I've had it in the back of my mind for a few years, but we never really had an opportunity like this. And this script was written for me, and you know, it was nothing like this was ever presented to us. So it was a perfect opportunity for me, if I was going to take it, you know, to take it now and do this.
What were you looking for? Did they say that you were interested in it but wouldn't agree till you saw the script? What were your requirements in terms of what you wanted?
Well, one thing, I didn't want country music. You know, when we sat down and talked about it with the producer and the director and the script writer, we talked about different things, different likes, different, you know, and dislikes, what kind of we wanted in the movie, what we didn't want. And the important thing for me was, if we're going to do it about country music, if that's going to be in there, I want it to look good. I don't want it I don't want the people in it to look like they're hicks or hillbillies. You know, I want it to look real, because country music fans and the people in country music, I don't know any hicks, you know, in it. I mean, I think they're a quality, classy bunch of people out there that like country music, you know, and so I didn't want it to look like that, and I wanted, if we did some rodeo scenes in it, I wanted them to look real. I didn't want it to look hokey either.
In terms of a singing role, some singers who want to become actors, they either want to sing in the movies, or they want to get as far away from singing in the movies as they can. What was it about a singing role that attracted you? About what now? Why did you choose to make your debut in a singing role?
Well, it was just easier for me, you know. It just kind of, it was an easier transformation, I guess you'd say, to make for me, because, you know, the concert scenes were real comfortable for me. I could go out there, and we had the crowd there, and we did those, and it was real, you know, I kind of eased into the acting part through that, and it just made it easier. And I was really nervous when I had to do the first day of dialogue with Leslie Ann, and we were on the bus there, and it was you know, we were having an argument, and you know, I was pretty nervous. I was real nervous, and I was afraid, you know, she might think, gosh, what have I done? I've committed to do a movie with this guy. He's terrible, you know, and so I wanted to be good. And after we ran it a couple of times, I really settled down and felt more comfortable with it, and figured out, yeah, it's just not that hard, you know. I can sit here and have an argument with this woman here. So it got better after that. I relaxed a lot.
Was she helpful to you?
Well, yeah, the whole cast. She was real good. Isabel was good. Molly McClure, Rory Calhoun, all of them just were great, and that's what helped me a lot, you know, working with them, I think, is
excuse me.
Time to take that pill.
Pills.
We were talking about how helpful your cast was.
Yeah, they were great to work with, and you know, they had some experience doing this stuff, so they helped me a lot, and I think, you know, anytime you're around people that are good at something, I think it kind of raises your level a little bit too. And you know, I know, you know, when I'm playing golf, if I play with somebody who's really good, well, then I'll play better. And I think it's the same with just about anything.
What about your opinions in regards to the direction country music is taking? The film seems to express an opinion that maybe purer is better, and maybe glitzy is bad. At least Dusty Draper or Wyatt or whatever this guy's name is.
Dusty Chandler.
Dusty Chandler?
Yeah.
But they call him Wyatt too, right? So
yeah, Wyatt is...
many names, this man.
This guy's got Smokey, Dusty, Rusty.
How much of that is the way you feel about country music?
Well, let me just say that this is the movie. and we didn't start out making this movie to make any statement about this is good, this is bad. I'm not making fun of anybody's show. I'm not trying to do that. Nobody was trying to do that. It was just a story about a guy who's lost control of what he set out to do, and his manager took over, and his music has become secondary to the production, and so he gets tired of it and takes a hike.
It's not likely it happened to George Strait, is it?
Not likely.
Are you surprised at all by the resurgence of popularity of country music?
No, I'm really not.
How do you account for that?
Well, back when I first signed with MCA Records, well, you know, there was kind of a lull in the country music. It seemed to me like there was. And I hate to philosophize on all this stuff because I certainly don't have all the answers to this. But
just your opinion.
My opinion
You're an
is
experienced professional country musician.
Well, you know, it was a time when crossover records were huge. You know, that everybody was trying to go in and cut a crossover record. If you cut something that was really country, you know, that just wasn't the thing to do. I don't think radio really they weren't looking for that. But I think the country music audience was there, but they just weren't getting that music. And then once the trend started changing for whatever reason, well, the audience just kept growing and growing and growing. And certainly now, more than ever, you have more new artists out there than ever before. Seems like there's new guys and girls coming along every day, which means that there's a lot more variety of songs out there, and it's just getting bigger and bigger.
Well, country music seems to be taking over from a lot of other, I mean, it's taking an audience away, I guess, from other forms of music. It's as popular now, or more popular perhaps than it's ever been. That's good for you.
It's great for me. You know, I just hope it's not just some little trend that's just going to end, like, you know, in the next year. I'd like to see it, you know, stay like that. And I think as long as we keep making good country music as artists, you know, and stay with the songs and the music that cause those people to change, it'll only get better and better.
You mentioned earlier, we talked about life on the road and the burnout factor. How do you personally avoid that when you're busy with a lot of engagements? How do you keep from pulling a Dusty?
Well, I solved that problem a few years ago. I cut way back, you know, my touring dates, and you know, I still tour now quite a bit, but nothing like before. And you just have to get away from it. Like I was saying earlier, you have to take time away from the music business and find something else that you like to do, and do that a while, you know, and that way it seems to stay fresh to you. You know, that was the answer for me. Whether it's the answer for somebody else, I don't know, but you know, I just have other things. I have a lot of different things that I can do that I enjoy doing as much.
In terms of the soundtrack album, we talked about that before the camera was rolling. What is your opinion of it? What's the process of pulling together the songs that are going to make up a soundtrack album?
Well, this is my first soundtrack album, so I can tell you that I think it's the best album that I've ever done. I'll listen to this album now, and I never do that. You know, once I finish an album, I hardly ever go back and listen to it. But this album I listen to. The songs are just, I think the songs are great. Every one of them is a good song. There were some songs that we had some specific types of songs that we looked for specific parts in the movie, but there was only about 3 or 4 of those at the most, and other than that we just went about it the same way as we always do when we're putting together an album. and I just listen to hundreds and hundreds of tapes and try to find the best songs that you can find. And we were a little pressed for time on this because when we finally decided we were going to do the movie, well, bam, we want to do it right now. They had to do it right now, so we had to get the album done before we could start the movie because the songs had to be in. So we were very lucky getting finding these songs, and the way it came together, it's just been pretty amazing because I've done a lot of albums, and this one has come together easier probably than any album I've ever done, and turned out the best.
Well, I guess you'll just have to do a movie with every album.
Maybe so.
Or an album with every movie, as the case may be. How much of the writing in the movie, stunt writing, did you actually do, and whose decision was that, and how nervous would it make people feel that the star is out on a horse?
Well, I did all the writing, all of that. I don't think it made anybody very nervous. If it did, I didn't know about it, but you know, that's something that I do all the time, so I was real comfortable doing it. It wasn't anything new. It was easy. I mean, if it was easy in the sense that I went out there, and well, the scene was that the two brothers, this girl's two brothers, were trying to teach me how to rope, and so there was just some roping scenes in there, and I did them myself.
Whoa, I heard that one. Gee.
Excuse me? I'll live.
Good.
Move that mic up higher.
You're going to put it right here on my head.
I don't know. I'm sorry, later tell me what you had for lunch so I don't order it here.
What was going on before lunch, too?
Faking cowboy rodeo work, you can't do it. So how many real cowboys worked on the film, and how about Isabel in terms of her writing?
Well, Isabel was kind of a beginner as far as writing goes, but I thought she did really well. You know, she worked real hard at it, and it turned out good.
And
now I know it was, it's for somebody that doesn't write a lot. They get a little worried up there. But I don't think I know it didn't show at all, and I thought it looked real good.
how about the character that Leslie Ann Warren plays? This controlling manager person. How much of what you've seen in the world of music and show business is involved in that character?
Oh, I've kind of heard stories about things like that, but I've never really experienced it. My manager and I have had a great relationship for a lot of years. We've had one contract in our whole time together, and it lasted for, I don't know, maybe a year. After that, we don't have a contract today, but we don't need one. I mean, he's not only my manager, but he's a good friend of mine, so I've been real fortunate in that respect. But you hear stories of that happening, but I think it's more the exception.
But it makes for a good drama, I guess.
Yeah, it made for a good story. I thought Leslie Ann she played that part really good.
She's a mean, evil woman, isn't it?
Yeah, she was.
Okay. We only have about 5 more minutes if we got time with you guys. You ready?
We're rolling.
What do you think about the look you had for the beginning of the film, the beard and the ponytail? What do you think about that, and what do the fans think about it?
Well, I think the fans were pretty shocked when I walked out at the Coliseum when we were to shoot the concert footage. I could see their eyes just. That's not our George. I was like, I go, you're right. It's Dusty. Yeah, but it was just, the whole thing was fun, and I enjoyed that part as much as any of it. It was just something totally different, and it was neat to do.
With the wardrobe, did you enjoy the wardrobe, Dusty wardrobe?
Well, that's not something that I would pick for myself, you know, but I think it fit this guy at this particular time when, you know, she had him doing all that. You know, this manager, Leslie Ann, she was putting all this, telling him this looked great and this is the way, you know, that it goes. And, you know, so that was one of the things that he was, you know, fed up with along with everything else.
You appeared once with I guess wearing a tuxedo, went through the tuxedo jacket phase, and allegedly Tom Parker said, "Don't like it."
Yeah, that's true. I forgot.
Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah, he told me to lose the tux. Yeah, when I saw him out in Vegas after that, I'd worn the...
Can you go ahead and say his name while you're telling us the story?
I had worn the tuxedo, I guess, to an award show. The tux jacket and shirt and blue jeans, and I got out to Vegas shortly after that. I was doing a show out there, and Colonel Tom Parker, who's been coming out to my shows just about since I started working in Vegas, and we've become friends. Well, he told me, "George, you got to lose the tux. You can't. It's not you." But he was real instrumental in this whole movie, actually, because you know, he'd done all those movies with Elvis, and every time he'd come out, he would talk to me about, "I need to do a movie," and he would talk to Irv, my manager, and you get this guy in the movies. And so he's the one that called Jerry Weintraub, the producer, and says, "Jerry, come down. You got to come see this guy's show." Said, "I think, you know, you want to make a movie with him." Well, Jerry, he came and saw the show a couple of times, and we got to visit him backstage, and he said, "Let me get this. Let's get together with a script writer, and I'll get a director." And that's what happened. I told you the story in the beginning, and Rex went out. The guy who wrote the script, Rex McGee, went out, and I'd see him occasionally at concerts in the background. And a year later, he comes up with the script.
You said once that you rode a bull one time and got about three jumps, and then said that was it for that.
Yeah.
What do you think about acting now that you've ridden that particular bull? Are you bitten by the bug?
Well, it's a little early to say. If this movie was to do really good, you know, if people like it, and I'd probably consider doing another movie. Yeah.
Along with doing movies, you get to do publicity for the movies, and that's you compare that once to being dental
Going to the dentist.
Yeah. And here you're in the middle of this junket. How's it been? Your teeth look like they're in good shape, by the way. Maybe you know something about that.
I've got a good dentist, by the way. But I don't know. You know, like you say, I don't do a lot of interviews, but I feel this is really important. I want this thing to have as much a chance as I can. I want to do everything I can do to give this a chance to work. So, yeah, he is.
Okay, one final question. What if you had to sum up the appeal of the movie in a nutshell? What do you think is going to draw people to this?
Well, I think especially now that with the popularity of country music and the soundtrack being so good, I just, you know, I think that's going to be the big drawing point.
And your acting, of course.
Of course, my acting, yeah, that too.
Great. Well, listen, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
You did that without anesthesia, and I appreciate that. Well,
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good luck. Hope it does well for you.
Appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
We'll meet again.
I'll take care. Nice meeting you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hurry, Tom, hurry, hurry.
You ready to big swing around?
Well, I know what it is, and I can't do anything for it.
Oh, is it today or?
No, it's tomorrow. I heard about it.
So why don't you go over and talk?
I'm working tomorrow.